So this video, we're going to kind of combine the lessons of the last two videos. The last two videos had to do with power and rights. And just to give a quick review, when we talked about power, we talked about power in three different levels. The foundational level is the individual level, the ability of the individual to shape their environment. That's power that we all possess. Then we talked about power in terms of the functional level. In other words, we structured multiple individuals to use their foundational power toward a particular end. That was functional power. And then we suggested that those people at the top of a particular structure or organization who direct the foundational power of those within the structure, we could consider them to be the powerful. So that was our story, that was our model for power. And then we talked about rights. We talked about rights in terms of a story that defines the limits by which power can be imposed on individuals. And the effect of this story is directly related to the number of people, how many people in a given society accept the story as being true and valid. Now, the story wasn't complicated. It broke down. We decided, I'm going to paraphrase it here a little bit, but we hold these truths to be self-evident that all human beings are endowed with the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of their own ends in equal measure, and these rights are inalienable because they are intrinsic to the human being. It's a great story. But what happens when you have an institution, an organization, a structure of functional power that does not accept the validity of the story? Well, in that case, what you have is a situation where rights bump up against the exercise of power. And when that happens, rights lose. So then this video is about, what do we do about that? How do we empower the story that we tell about rights so that we have real protection for our human dignity and our rights and civil liberties? Now, the good news here is that I'm not going to share anything new with you, that the answer is actually relatively simple. You could go out and do this right now. You could go out and do this right now. No hesitation, right after this video ends, after you share it and hit all the buttons and the links and stuff like that, and get it going right. We were writing about this. What you need to do, if we're going to protect human rights, then we need to empower those human rights. In other words, we need to create functional systems of power that use and organize foundational power to protect and preserve and promote the story of human rights. In other words, we need to find organizations, or as our buddy Max Weber would put it, parties that do the work of human rights, of protecting and promoting the story of human rights. Now, Weber was writing about this stuff 100 years ago. So that's good news, because what that means is there are already existing structures, there are already existing organizations, institutions, and parties that do exactly this thing. Now, this video is not going to be an advertisement for any particular organization. I may put a link of some organizations that I feel are noteworthy in the Substack version of this video, but this video is not going to be an advertisement. The bottom line is, figure out what it is, figure out what element of rights that you want to participate in, that you want to fight for. Find the organizations that do that and join and participate. Now, there's two levels of this you can do, and they're both good. You should definitely do them. First, of course, you could do this right now. Go online, find the organization you like, donate your $50, get your tote bag, and you're good. You're a member. You're fighting for rights. But that's just the beginning. That's just scratching the surface. What these organizations need, and I can tell you firsthand as somebody who's been a president of some of these organizations, what these organizations need is people who are actually going to use their physical foundational power to advancing the organization. You need people to show up and actually do the work. So find those local chapters of these organizations that you're interested in and show up, participate, Go to the meetings, go to the protests, go to the bake sales, participate in some way. Put your physical effort into these organizations and build these organizations. Now look, this is something that we oftentimes don't do. It's real easy to become what we could refer to as a free rider. You know what? There's people who are out there doing this work. There's people who are out there fighting for my rights. They can do it, and then we can just free ride on the foundational labor that they put in, the foundational power that they put in. We're not living in that time right now where we can afford free riders dragging these institutions slower and slower and slower. We need as many people as possible to participate in as many of the organizations that are out there on the front lines, embattled right now by the state that is hostile toward their ends. And we need people to shore up these organizations. So I'm going to make an ask of you right now. Stop this video, pause this video, and join one of these organizations. And decide and dedicate yourself to, hey, I'm not just going to lend my money to this cause. I'm actually going to show up. The only way to fight power is with power. If human rights is important to you, and if you've watched this much of this video, then they are, then the only way to protect and preserve these rights is by using your foundational power that you have intrinsic to you as a human being to protect and preserve the rights that are also intrinsic to you as a human being. So thank you for listening this far into the video. Look, videos like this, promoting them is hit or miss on TikTok. Actually talking about stuff of substance is hard to do on TikTok. So if you can, please share, repost, do everything that you can to, if you think this, what I said in this video is important, please share far and wide, and let's try to beat the bots and algorithms at their own game. And until next time.